Hey there everyone, it is 80 here with game number 4 of this best of 5 series between the blue Terran MarineKingPrime and his opponent, the red Terran oGsTheSC. These two players have already duked it out for 3 games in this series, and it stands at 2-1 right now. I'll tell you exactly what happened in games 1 through 3 in a moment, but first let's examine the map that game 4 will be played on. This is MLG, the Shattered Temple. This is, of course, the MLG version with the supply depots at the bottoms of the ramps for both players down here and here. And this is quite a large map, and they are going to be spawning in far locations, so it'll be quite the distance for any early units, such as Reapers, to have to travel. They have to go the entire width of the map to reach your opponent's base, so that probably will not be too much of a factor in today's game, early game Reaper harass, or the such. Alright, let's examine the results of the previous games. In game number 1, both players went a very similar build, but MarineKingPrime was able to take it down in the end just by outplaying and out-microing the STC. In the second game, the STC actually went for a very early 2 proxy barracks rush attack, and MarineKingPrime was able to hold that off pretty easily, and then afterward, the STC realized that his economy was completely crippled because he diverted so many resources to that proxy barracks attack that he just decided to GG out of that game, realizing that it wouldn't be worth it to stay in there and to draw it out for a lengthy affair. So good for him there. And then in the third game, we saw kind of the opposite happen. MarineKingPrime went for a basically all-in attack with about a dozen or so SCVs spearheading the assault, but the STC was able to hold that off, and then as a result of that, MarineKingPrime realized that he was too crippled afterward, so he GG'd out of that game. There were also 2, I believe, Cloaked Banshees doing pretty good damage for MarineKingPrime in the previous game, but it just wasn't enough in the end. So it is 2 games to 1 in MarineKingPrime's favor at the moment. So if he wins this fourth game, rather, he will become the winner of this series and be named the FXOpen Invitational Series number 4 champion. And if the STC is able to take this game down, then he will force a 5th and deciding game in this final series of that tournament. So let's watch today to see which player can come out on top. By the way, this is actually the second time I've casted this game. I casted it immediately after putting up that third game last night, but unfortunately, when I looked forward to upload game number 4, I couldn't even find it. I guess my computer just swallowed it up in some phantom black hole or something, and it was completely gone forever. So I am casting it again just now. Fair warning, I do, of course, know what happens because I've seen this game already, so it won't be quite as authentic, you know, with the surprise for me not knowing what happens. But I promise I will stay as impartial as possible and keep myself from spoiling anything that will happen in this game. At any rate, let's just kind of see what happens, as both players are pretty much doing the same exact build so far. The command center is a little bit earlier for MarineKingPrime. It looks like about 30 or so in-game seconds, as he has built that just a little bit earlier than the STC, but nothing catastrophically right there. STC's scout will be, or actually those are 2 Marines kind of just touching that watchtower and then going back home, deciding that's all they want to do. Always nice to see these top pros use some of their actions per minute to fan their Marines out on this cliff. Kind of just very aesthetically pleasing to see the Marines actually like individually placed in like evenly spaced gaps, each watching a section of that cliff. Let's take a look at the APM tab just for some fun. Both these players are still very, very high. 216 for the STC and 177 for MarineKingPrime. Way up there in the stratosphere. Very impressive, as always, for these top-tier pros to have so many actions per minute. Anyway, in the game, we have 2 more barracks going to be joining this first one for MarineKingPrime, along with a tech lab on that first barracks as well, while the STC has opted instead to be getting a factory that is just now finishing at his base and will immediately go into a starport and also getting a tech lab on that factory. So he will be going the Destiny Cloudfist build, and it will be going up against a 3 rags opening from our blue Terran player. His tech lab is going to be researching combat shields first, an interesting choice right there, to actually not get concussive shells first. It means he's not going to be committing too much to an early game attack, but he is still getting Marauders out of this barracks, just not quite yet getting that upgrade for them at the moment. We have the STC getting his starport built. That's about to finish, while his tech lab on his factory isn't quite doing anything just yet, but he is going to be churning out a couple of siege tanks while it waits for this starport to finish. Looks like he's going to be starting a Viking right now in his starport as soon as it finishes, so he will be getting Vikings and tanks and Marines right now is the STC. Looks like MarineKingPrime is going to be landing his command center a little bit earlier than his opponent once again. and that will shortly be down there at his expansion. Looks like the SCC is going to be trying to block this command center from landing with his own SCV, but I guess he decided it wasn't worth it afterward and just moved away. And he will respond in kind by moving his own orbital command down to his natural expansion as well. His composition right now, it looks like 8 Marines and 1 single tank, while MarineKingPrime has 2 Marauders with, let's see how many Marines. It looks like 8 plus 4, 12 Marines, and then 2 more joining them as well. So a pretty healthy composition for both players here in the relatively early game. Looks like 2 reactors are going to be going up on these 2 barracks for MarineKingPrime. Also going to be building his factory now as well. Meanwhile, in the STC's base, he's getting 2 more barracks of his own. So these players' builds are once again going to be converging, but not before their armies converge right here at the front door of the Red Terran, the STC. Here we go, 2 Marauders beginning the assault. Looks like a couple of tanks will be out to help the STC. SCVs will have to be pulled off the line as all of his ground forces, his Marines rather, were taken out in short order. And here we go, the MarineKingPrime is applying some pretty heavy pressure right now, taking out that first tank and might be able to take out this second tank as well. And there is a medevac on the field for the STC, but unfortunately no Marines to be healed by it. So there's just a dozen or so, half a dozen really, looks like 8 Marines going to be loose inside the STC's base, just kind of shooting everything they see. So this is definitely advantage MarineKingPrime at the moment. A lot more resources lost by the STC. Looks like twice as many as MarineKingPrime has lost so far. And now he's going to be going to work on the natural expansion. These SCVs completely defenseless, going to just be kind of running around in circles. We do have 2 Marines now on the field for the STC with a medevac to help them out. 2 Marines have been lost in this original 8 squadron, but it looks like SCVs will be just taken out, trying to run away. But here we go. These Marines still doing a ton of damage. A starport is going up back in the base of MarineKingPrime, but he might not even need that as he still has Marines loose inside the STC's base. Here we go, actually dropping a mule, so the STC is confident he can hold off this assault and will indeed be able to do so. The last of those Marines falling to the second wave of reinforcements from our Red Terran player over here. Looks like he's actually going to be building a 3rd command center right now, a little south of his natural expansion. So he will be 1 base ahead if the MarineKingPrime allows him to take a 3rd expansion. Stimpack and Siege Tech being researched by MarineKingPrime back inside his base. This expansion is very nicely populated by a lot of mules, and it is an 11 harvester advantage for MarineKingPrime. He's killed 12 workers, while the STC has killed none so far, and that is never good when you are in the losing end of that little battle right there. Here we go, he's actually 300 or so minerals ahead, 300 to 500, and also about 100 gas ahead in the income per minute. So MarineKingPrime definitely has the upper hand right now. It looks like he's going to be moving out once again. This medevac going to be flying overhead along with 1 tank as well, and just a full platoon of Marines and Marauders going to be spearheading this assault, going to be doing a lot of damage unless OGS, the SCC, is able to muster up some defenses right now. He doesn't need more supply depots, he needs more defenses. We'll see. Looks like MarineKingPrime has ideas of elevatoring units up into the main of the STC. Will he be prepared for this? It looks like he doesn't really have anything up here to defend except for 1 tank, very nicely sieged right there. So he does have some defense at least. Both players will be getting Terran infantry weapons level 1 upgrade in the near future that is just now starting. Here we go. The attack is about to happen for MarineKingPrime. He has a ton of units up here at the base, going to be ferrying 1 set at a time. And here we go, venturing into the tank's range, going to be hit by 1 tank shell, and that will also alert the STC to the fact that he has been elevator dropped. Going to be moving in here is MarineKingPrime. SCVs pulled off the line to try to help repair that tank, but they were just a little too late. That tank is taken out. And now the STC is outnumbered inside his own main base, and he will have to seriously muster up some defenses right now, as this tank is still alive up in his main, and there's nothing left to kill it. SCV's trying to do some damage, but the last one falling. And OGS, the STC, will be forced to GG out of this game, as he was just once again outplayed by MarineKingPrime. Very nicely done by the man people used to call Foxer. His name used to be Boxer, and then he changed it to MarineKingPrime because he realized that the legend deserved that name. So here we go, MarineKingPrime making a real name for himself as well, winning the FXOpen Invitational Series number 4, taking down the final series 3-1 over OGS, the STC. Very well played by MarineKingPrime. Congratulations, sir. And I hope you guys enjoyed that series, and I will see you guys next time.